Little man, boy, I sure heard a bunch about you. You see, I was a good friend of your dad's. We were in that Hanoi pit of hell together for 5 years. Well, when two men are in a certain situation like me and your dad were, where you see, you start to take on certain responsibilities of the other. And if it hadn't been me who didn't make it, I know Major Clark would be talking to my boy right now, Jim. But the way things turned out, I'm talking to you. Bruce, I got something for you. Now, this watch was first purchased in a general store in Knoxville, Tennessee. It was made by one of the first companies ever to make wristwatches. You know, up until then, people just carried pocket watches. Well, this was your great-grandfather's war watch. Private doughboy Orion Clark. He bought that on the day he set sail for Paris. And he wore this watch every day he was in that war. And when the war was over, he was sent home to his family. He took the watch off and he put it in an old coffee can, and in the can it stayed until your granddad, Dane Clark, was called upon to fight for his country. It was the Germans once again. This time they called it World War II. Well, you see, Dane's luck wasn't as good as his old man's. You see, Dane was a Marine. And he was killed along with the rest of them in the Battle of Wake Island. And he was dying. And he knew it, you know. None of those boys had any illusions of leaving the island alive, so 3 days before the Japanese took the island, your grandfather asked a gunner, a man on an Air Force transport, a man he never met before in his life, a man named Wanaki, to deliver to his infant son, who he'd never seen in the flesh, this watch. 3 days later, your granddad was dead, but Wanaki, he kept his promise. When the war was finally over, he paid a visit to your grandmother, delivering to your infant father this watch. This watch was on your daddy's wrist when you shot over Hanoi. He was captured. He was put in a Vietnamese prison camp. Now, he knew that if the Vietnamese had ever seen the watch, well, they confiscated it. You know, they take it away. And you see, the way your dad looked at it, this watch was a birthright. I mean, he'd be damned if he's going to let some greasy little Vietnamese lay his hands on his boy's birthright, so the one place he knew he could hide something was up his ass. For 5 years, he wore the watch up his ass. He dies of dysentery, gives me the watch. I hid this uncomfortable hunk of metal up my ass for 2 years. Well, I was finally sent home